Welcome, everybody, to this special episode of Whispers from the Inn. We are live with our innkeepers. All of us are here, and we have a special guest, Mr. Michael Say. How is everybody tonight?
Doing great.
Fantastic. It's been a good weekend, but we're here to talk about last weekend. I assume everybody is recovered. We all were at Adepticon last weekend. Unfortunately, JP was the probably least seen person. I think I saw him for 5 minutes, but he made it. So that's fantastic. But all of one day, he was there. He was there. I actually saw him. He trained in, you trained in, right? Yeah, he took the train in. So we're all back. It was a fantastic weekend for all things miniature gaming. We saw our, as Scott likes to put it, our extended families. It is always fantastic to see everybody, and we were fully in on Warcrow this trip. And yeah, so how was everybody's weekend? You guys they did more Warcrow than I did. But yeah, how was everybody's weekend? Hi,
I
caveman.
thought it went really well, and especially kind of the first year with a full slate. I was very pleased.
We're learning the new we're learning the new yeah, to how to do things. That's okay.
I don't know, boost the
I
the
don't know. We may have lost
engagement.
Jake. He might be having some tech issues, but he'll be back. So, um, it was a full weekend. We had the teams event on Thursday. We had the seminar Thursday night. We had the narrative on Friday, and then the first WTS at Adepticon Saturday and Sunday. So, first off, let's just dive into Thursday and even maybe a little Wednesday night. We got you, Scott. Most of us were there Wednesday night. By the time I got there, good portion of the Warcrow tables were set up and with newly painted terrain that I know Scott worked very hard on over this the previous couple months. And yeah, so teams Thursday. How was teams?
Also known as WMDs, Ward Magical Delivery.
I think it's a great idea. I don't know why you guys didn't do that, you chickens. Yeah.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's cool. I didn't know you could use those characters. I didn't realize that until you just said that. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right. One sec, guys. I'm finding that two of you, I'm missing your mics. So give me 2 seconds. I'm missing the mics on the stream. And there could be because. Yep, that's probably why. All right, Scott, talk again. Ben, let me know
Hi,
if I have
hello.
Scott now.
Am I there?
I don't think I had him into the. I don't think I didn't have you guys into the channel, so we missed a little bit of that. But that's okay because we're not putting this on a podcast.
He just said what the best faction is and how to win first place in every tournament with them are.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
Also,
That's true.
And
Every
I can't
upcoming
and
release.
it can't be repeated.
cannot be.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that track one is the one that feeds out, and I don't know why those weren't in there. But hey, first live, it happens. I heard what you said.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
we
you,
got you.
Ben.
We're
Appreciate
everybody's
it.
back. Ben, sorry about that. Tech issues. I'm an idiot.
I will quickly go through the team rules again real fast because I know that's probably a big question on the community's minds of how did we engage in the teams. So companies on a team are considered distinct and unique. So if I'm playing with Jake on the same team, my company has to be created with 150 points, has to match the availability within my faction, and Jake has to do the same thing. They are not considered allies for the purposes of skills, passive skills, spells, switches, command abilities. And a character from my company cannot join a unit from his. However, common rules interactions, such as moving through an allied troop, multiple combat modifiers, determining control of an objective, so adding up conquest values, things like that. Both companies are considered the same team. at that point. So basically, we were trying to avoid shenanigans with that first one. So any of the special skills and things like that, you couldn't go across the two companies on the same team. Everybody probably didn't hear. We don't want Walker the Leaf Storm transporting and teleporting a unit of Warg Riders and then having those Warg Riders charge immediately. It just leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth.
Yeah, especially for a more just kind of a more casual game.
Exactly. Command points were pooled, so both players would pool those together, and it's the combined total of both teams to determine if either team gets that extra orange die in the initiative roll by having more. We did allow the Colossal Company characters because this is a themed event. We really kind of want to push that theme, and it's not, the competitive approach. So we said, yeah, absolutely. Play with those extra characters you got from adventures. Each round, we did shrink down to 4 turns. When one team activates, one player has to declare their unit, finish the full activation of that unit before their partner will do the same thing. So you couldn't interrupt between each other. Then the next team would be able to activate. And you could activate in any order you choose, and that can change each time it's your turn. So you didn't have to stick with the same person going first every time unless you wanted to. Those are the basic rules that we followed.
So what was the general vibe amongst the players? Enjoyed, loved it.
Really laid back. It was
any
great.
rule
Yeah, it was
like
really nice.
that didn't work, like, because obviously you're not testing this necessarily, or if you did, it's probably not more than a couple games. But
I didn't hear anything that was like this was a broken combination or anything
Yeah.
like that. I think we got in front of it by making sure that like special abilities couldn't be used across the 2 different companies in the same team.
Could both companies have the same unique characters?
They can. Yep. Basically, they look at and build their org chart within the player themselves. So you and I can both run, say, Drago if we were both running Hegemony.
that sounds like something an Affinity would do, especially with a certain model that rolled me 3 years ago. I don't remember the model's name, but I just remember it's really good.
Was that Dual Andromedas?
Yes, that would be it.
Oof.
It
I am
would be
familiar.
dual Andrometers.
I am
Yes.
familiar.
I can't say that because it was Borno. It's Borno, right? Or Bruno.
Bruno.
I think it was him. Yeah, that was not a fun play experience. I think Matt and I lost most of our army turn 1, and it was like, okay, good game. But as long as we didn't have anything like that happen, then that's good.
I did not hear or see anything, and
I know nothing.
first time having 22 players, out there all at the same time. I didn't think we had a lot of rules questions, like nothing.
No, I would think
Off
it's
the
one
wall.
kind of the way we were hoping is that it seemed like everyone was really having a good time and a lot of new faces too. I mean,
Yes.
and it really seemed to be a big hit.
That's awesome. My team events are my preferred way to do most games at Adepticon. I really enjoy them. I did not personally play in the team event for Warcrow because I was playing a team event of MCP with my wife for 14 hours that day. Was not planning on playing 14 hours, but my wife is very competitive, and I found out just how competitive on a board game, on a war game state, because I was like, hey, we don't have to play game 5. I was like, we're not quitting if we're winning. I'm like, too fair. And then we got to we were 2-2 going to the last one, and she's like, well, I want more tickets. I want more swag stuff. And I'm like, I guess we're playing the 5th. So, which is why I missed the seminar, but everybody else here was at the seminar,
We were.
I believe. And let's just brief. We're not going to talk about all the profiles, but I'm more curious because I actually didn't get to divulge about talking about the seminar really much. So I'd love to hear how was the vibe? How was the excitement? We all know that Hoopu brings a ton of energy. I would assume that after this event she slept for 3 days, but I know that's probably not the case because we got to get back to work and all that stuff. But she was, I can only imagine what her energy was at the seminar, but you guys can actually probably tell us how her energy was at the seminar because you were there.
Yeah, I mean, we have I kind of have it pulled up, the drive folder with the stuff in it. They started with talking about, Coney was there as well, who's kind of one of the head or in charge of the Warcrows. But they first started talking about community partners. They're doing a lot of work with different community partners. So they talked about like the what is it? The archives, uh, the Corvus Warchives, which is like narrative books and different types of literature. They talked about, I don't know the name of the company offhand, but the statues, because it was Infinity.
Mindworks.
Yeah, I phased out a little, but yeah, it was Infinity. So Mindworks, but they are going to be doing Warcrow stuff too, so kind of larger scale sculpts. They also, I'm really intrigued. They're doing some sort of collaboration with Arch Villain Games and My Mini Factory. So that's going to be really interesting. I can't think. Oh, and then what's the Polish company?
Micro Art Studios.
Micro Studios is doing terrain. Of course, Warsenal is working on stuff, and I'm talking specifically for Warcrow. So if you're an Infinity person, I'm just talking about the Warcrow stuff. And then Baron of Dice has what I'm gonna call a draft of dice that they were kind of working on, and it's looking good. And I definitely we gave feedback for room for improvement, but they always make great quality, and they're very receptive to the community. And I expect, I assume there's going to be great quality stuff coming from them for Warcrow as well. But then they talked about, then they jumped into Warcrow. If anybody else wants to talk about stuff, you can. I have it all lined up too. So
Yeah, I think the most exciting thing for me is that there's continued support, and there will be a new narrative campaign that Hoopu announced. And I got the book that came with the Mount Haven box, and I'm thumbed through a little bit, and that's the sort of stuff when I look through it, it just really kind of gets my juices flowing. Not that I'm to that level of quality, but it's that's the sort of stuff that I really draws me to Warcrow. And on top of with Corvus Belli, you're going to get fantastic models. You're going to get a great interactive company that really seems to listen and care about the fans. But Warcrow takes it to that next level for me.
Yeah, I looked through the book a little bit too. My intention is that's what I'm going to focus on and trying to drive new people when I start doing more demos here in hopefully 3 weeks after work stuff calms down a little bit. Is really honing in on the narrative portion of it, which I know is in my community. I feel like I have a better shot because so many people don't play on a tournament level. So if I can get them excited about the lore portion of it, and not necessarily the min-max of every list and things like that, I think I got maybe a better shot. And I thumbed through it a little bit. It's definitely looks better than the short narrative that we had for Winds from the North. And it looks exciting. I'm excited to try it.
well, in they were talking outside of Mount Haven. So the Mount Haven one they weren't talking about. This is going to be this is called The Witch. So this is a 250 full army narrative campaign where you can choose to be.
Okay, I get what you're saying. This is like the Infinity Global narrative campaign.
Yeah, and you can be
I totally missed that.
Seeker or a hunter.
Okay. Have they said who they're partnering? Are they doing it on their own, or have they said who they're partnering with?
They haven't said.
They haven't said.
Interesting.
But along with it comes the we're also getting the 1.6 rules update. My hope is that everything is in one spot. But
soon,
yeah.
TM.
Soon.
TM.
I think they said April.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So soon is actually true.
Gosh, that's super exciting. That's more than I thought. I did not catch that. I always enjoyed the Infinity ones. I really did enjoy
They were
them.
closed this last week, so we will see what they start coming up with.
Correct. Yeah, they've been closed for Holy Week, so they're back at work tomorrow.
But in terms of models, I mean, Adepticon was kind of the official launch of Mount Haven. And we had a lot of, at least on the tournament side, we had a lot of just talking with people. We had a lot of people really interested in Mount Haven. They're fun to paint. So if you're interested in the whole launch box is all Unicool too. So they're really fun. I
They
love
went
painting
together
little-
super fast, and you don't have to
Mhm.
cut sprues. So it
They
was.
Yeah.
still
I got
haven't
'em-
given in the bottom, so
I got all mine assembled. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm gonna paint them, which I haven't decided yet. I'm either gonna go speed metallic gold or speed metallic bronze because I am not gonna NMM it.
Yeah, I don't blame you on that one. I'm a little too
Oh,
nervous. Trying
somebody
that
from
metallic
More Than Dice called us a bunch of nerds.
metal.
Accurate.
That's
wait a
fine.
second. Who were the ones who were in almost all of the Warcrow events? I think that may be the more from Dice people.
You're in a
Um,
safe place, assuming this is our friend Nessie. I'm assuming
No, it could be our friend.
It could
Nessie, our
be-
friend
it could be.
Gonzo, our friend
Mizzy,
Mizzy.
I have not met
Anybody.
the other two lovely people from that podcast, so I
Well,
have not
that's
met them
because
yet.
you were playing 14 hours.
I know.
A different game.
Well,
Yeah,
here's the
go to the
deal.
next
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. I learned a long time ago if you can get your spouse interested in things you're interested in, you get to do more of those things. And when your spouse says, "I want to do this," you're gonna miss some Warcrow.
I will extend that to partner. Does not have to be
Partner,
spouse.
spouse, whatever, doesn't matter. Yeah, I didn't have a choice, and I was supported by my fellow Warcrow members. But
Absolutely. You said,
yeah, I
play.
don't think if the teams is on
Nope, it's
Thursday every
Gonzo.
year.
Hi, Gonzo.
Trouble.
Uh,
hey Gonzo.
Yeah, if it's on a Thursday, I will never do one again because she is hooked.
Nothing wrong with that.
It is
wrong
nothing wrong with that.
The one last thing I want to say about the Thursday team event before we move on to the narrative on Friday is that for next year, I want to find different ways to encourage the players, the teams, to build elaborate display boards.
Yeah.
Because every team event at Adepticon has a chance to make it into what's called the Army Showcase. And it's specific to only team events. Display boards are a must. But it's basically, they used to call it Armies on Parade, but it's called Army Showcase now, where literally on Saturday night, starting at I think 7:30 or something like that, the best of the best from all of the team events are on display, and there's some really, really good artists out there in the industry that judge it. And based on the categories that, they'll judge, like skirmish games all get lumped together, historicals like they've got different categories and there's different awards for it. And then there's a best in show that goes to the best overall. And I do believe for the fourth year in a row, it went to an Age of Sigmar done by the amazing Adam Trunzo out of Wisconsin. His stuff is unbelievable, but I really want to encourage the Warcrow teams to start gearing towards that beginning with next year. This was the first year we did it. Really didn't want to, have anybody shy away from it. Let's see how the reception was at the team event. It went great. Had a lot of folks, seem to enjoy themselves and haven't heard anything bad since. So next year we're going to start pushing forward. Let's take it to that next level.
Awesome.
It was cool.
Yeah. Before we move on, what is your most excited release coming that was spoiled during the seminar? You only get to pick one.
Angry Ghost. The Angry Ghost.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
What is it? The wolf?
Waljan, the last of the first, the ancestor.
Waljan is. I'm already trying to figure out how many.
The Swole Ghost.
What faction is that? Because I don't know.
Mount
I wasn't
Mount
there.
Haven.
Oh, it's Mount Haven. Okay. Cool.
I also like the one of the Feudum cavalry. He's on a horse, and his saddle has a horse, and his helmet also has a horse. So it's triple horses, trace horses.
Great source.
Nice.
I like the Scion Cavalry. I don't remember what they're called, but they look freaking cool. So
Harvesters.
Terrifying.
the Harvesters. That's right. It's the Harvesters. Yeah, those look pretty sweet.
I think it's Harvester Riders, because
Yeah,
Harvester was on foot in Adventures.
Which is crazy because that guy is gnarly on his own as an individual. The fact that they are putting 2 in one unit, I'm curious because we haven't had official new rules for him. So the fact that there's 2 of them now on a horse, I'm just like, gosh, you know.
Yeah,
That'd
and
be
yeah,
interesting.
then the captain, what is a dole hand? He's carrying his head, the
Yeah.
head in the hand. That's
Mhm.
I will say
Pretty spectacular.
I've been so impressed by the artistic the direction, and especially like the dwarves. Not that I'm have my eye on all the different games out there, but I think just looking at the Mount Haven current releases and what's going forward, it's just it's so
They're unique.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't
Like
know
they're
that I've
not
seen
like
that
other
often.
dwarves you've seen. Like they're I don't know. They're how do I put it? Like mechanical, more mechanical. I don't know how you put it.
And then it extends to the to the scions, especially. I mean, that cavalry is just it's terrifying.
I just zoomed in. I just zoomed into the artwork for the Harvester Riders, and the saddle is a guy's flayed face staring at you.
Mhm.
Oh, it's even better.
Gosh, so cool.
That's, you know,
When I paint these guys up, I'm gonna do For Whom the Bell Tolls. I think for my yeah, they're crazy.
Well, a lot of exciting stuff coming. It was from what I heard, it was fantastic, and the
It was
energy
cool.
was great. Definitely Warcrow was the focus of it for Adepticon. There was a little bit for Infinity, but mostly it was Warcrow, and then you even saw that in the vendor hall area. It was a lot of green, a lot of green. So let's move on to Friday, which was the narrative event, and our very own Mr. Michael Say was in charge of that. And so,
Yeah.
why don't you describe what your narrative was?
Yeah, so this is the second year. So last year, the narrative we held was really the only event we had for Warcrow alongside, but we did do demos of the war game and then Warcrow the Adventures, the dungeon crawler board game. And so this year we kind of went a little further towards kind of the more unrestrained, not constrained to normal rules. And then next year, I think we'll really kind of try to unleash it into what people come to expect from something like the Infinity narratives, and that's certainly an inspiration. But no, we had a great group of players, and we had a pretty good distribution of factions, which I was happy to see. We did have a lot of CNN, which I think is to be expected because I think a lot of people are excited about that. But but we had 3 Scions, we had 3 Red Caps players, a couple Northern Tribes players, 3 Hegemony, and 3 Feudum. So pretty across the board. We had really good representation, which I was super happy for. And last year and then this year, what I usually do is I will kind of read through the lore book, and there'll be something that just sticks with me, and that kind of inspires what I want to do. So last year, it was the Island of the Chains, which is kind of near Grotyard up in the north. There's these gigantic chains that block off the ocean or the seaport. And then this year, it was the mounds, which are located within Feudum, and it's a great mystery. What is buried in the mounds? Is it treasure? Is it the giants? Is it dragons? Nobody knows. So that kind of really kind of stuck with me. So I kind of built some missions around that. Some maybe one didn't work as well as I wanted it to, but I think the first and the third ones went off well, and really the story of kind of making their way there, and just coincidentally, all the different factions show up at the same time, and they kind of fight to find their way in. There's maybe booby traps that go off, or they may get lost or turn around, but they make their way into what turns out to be a tomb. And the second mission is trying to get all the booty they can and get it out. I think that mission needs some fine tuning, but once they kind of do that, then it kind of turns into this, I don't know, this cosmic horror type of thing. I was really inspired by it. I read this book a couple years ago. It's called The House of Leaves, and it's a trip, but it's kind of 2 stories, but one part of that is it's called the Navidson Record. So it's this house that is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, and that they eventually discover, and that's I kind of took that idea and took it into now they're kind of in this endless labyrinth. And then the last mission is that you find a way out, but you kind of have to balance. You score the arcane points by teleporting more of your forces out, but then you also have to keep guys in to score your military points. So how do you balance sending people out, or maybe you can knock people out that you don't. Maybe you can get that war rig trapped and have him teleported out so you can deal with him. And I will say, what I kind of was hoping would happen is just go to max chaos. I had, I had one of the players come up and say, you could push a button to extend the size of the circle. And he just came up to me and said, how many times can I push the button?
And you said
as many
As
times
ma-
as as many times as you want. You're gonna have to spend your activations on it. But from when he came and told me later, is that he extended it. Basically, I got most of the whole board in there, which led to kind of an interesting last couple rounds. So I think it went off very well. I was kind of really happy, and this happened last year too. But I think, again, being more of a narrative player, as part of all our events, we also do best appearance, but we also do favorite opponent. And this year, just about everybody had a vote. And I usually do first place and second place in case we need tiebreakers. And just about every person got a first place or a second place vote, which is just fantastic. And that's really the community that we hope to foster and to continue to grow. And that's another thing that I think sets Warcrow and Infinity too. I think it sets it apart that you've got such a fantastic community and then such an exciting game to go with it. And so I think it went really well, and I kind of had some people coming up throughout the this weekend saying that they really seem to enjoy it. So I can't accept a compliment, so I don't know if they're just they're blowing smoke at me, but I think it went really well.
Did you hear any like amazing moment? I mean, you just kind of talked about one. Any moments that stuck out you heard from players like, oh, this happened and it was really cool interaction? And
well, yeah, and so our friend Nestor played Sean, who's it's a new friend for me. He came over from Ireland, and they had Sean kind of he realized that he could take an extra activation to go over and push the button, and he ended up cutting some of Nestor's forces in half. He cut, I think, some of his bowmen and then one of his Guisarmiers. He cut them in half and reduced their units, which kind of surprised Nestor, but was really fun. And I think, and then on Sunday, we actually had a new player to Warcrow, came up and told me that that event was his favorite event ever, and he's been coming to Adepticon since 2016. So that's probably the best compliment I could ever ask to get.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, that's
That is
fantastic.
awesome.
I spent a lot of time Friday lurking around the narrative tournament, and everyone was really positive about how the tournament was going, how the scenarios were written, enjoying their games.
That's the most we can ask for as organizers and judges.
Yeah, it was, when I was talking to people too, a lot of people said that the third scenario was their favorite Warcrow like thing they've done. Just it. So there was a lot of accolades for that last scenario. That people were saying like that's kind of what they want out of like a game of Warcrow.
And I apologize for having to go radio silent for a moment there, but Mike, fantastic job. I'm sure the rest of the guys said this already, but you outdid yourself from last year, and I'm sure we're going to see.
Well, and now I think I'm ready to open it up. I'm really ready to open it up. So next year, I think we've established that, at least we'll have some involvement in the team. I think narrative is the big draw for Warcrow. And then, even WTS, I think, I was happy that we got, 14 players. But I think next year is when we'll ramp up the weirdness. I don't want to write a check I can't cash, but that's where we're going. I really want to kind of up the ante. And that maybe even be, I've got some ideas I need to run by Scott. I'm going to see if he thinks it's feasible, but okay. Can we do bigger boards? Can we do bigger, all sorts of things?
The answer is yes.
The ante. So
I'm excited to see what you come up with.
And that's the great thing about narratives and even the teams events. Like,
yes, Gonzo, more Warcrow, more narrative.
Yes, more
narrative event.
More.
Maybe not.
The competitive scene is important, and we all understand that. But it's sometimes we get hyper competitive. We forget about like the fun of just playing the game, and that is what the team event does. That's what the narrative does. and you don't have to worry about, oh, if I min max, do I have the best list? It doesn't matter. It's, am I playing the story and are we having a great interaction with somebody? That's what it's all about to me.
In
Um,
Yeah,
the
that's the unique experience. It's and even taking it, and it take a lot of I take a lot of inspiration from, our Infinity friends, which is where I came from. I know a lot of us have played Infinity, and especially like Chad Bustle out of Indianapolis. He's a madman in the best possible way. So
Yes,
and
his
Gabe
mind
ran a
is a
fantastic Ted
beautiful-
deathmatch.
Oh yeah, we're
His-
gonna touch on that before we're done. Just so you know, we
He's
already
great.
touched
Like
on that.
maybe so again ideas brewing up here. Maybe we can do something like that for Warcrow, but wait and see.
Oh my
That was my
gosh.
suggestion. We need to figure out what Warcrow tag deathmatch looks like.
Does
the big guys,
Lindworm
Ross
have the
Hermit.
Olympics?
Yeah.
Is
Or
there
you could
Lindworm
do
Olympics?
tag death match with Warcrow versus even like
Yeah.
a bigger boss or something like
Gollum Deathmatch. Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I will just say it right now, but damn it, Gonzo.
There you go. It's said. It's been said. Well, I even remember when I did the narrative when I was in the narrative 2 years ago, the first one.
Two Adepticon.
There was the fun thing where we were getting spells and we could affect other tables, other games.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
fun because I think I was playing Gonzo and we were just like nuking other people's boards with spells that would change their reality. And it was like something. It was like the tinge, and it was cool. It was a lot of fun. There's just so much fun stuff you can do with it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, fantastic event. Everybody had a good time. We'll see what you cook up for next year, but unfortunately, we have to wait a year.
I gotta find new things to 3D print.
Well, yeah. Well,
If
you have
anyone
plenty of
can
them.
find new things to 3D print.
Yes, it is you. It's definitely you. All right, so that brings us to Saturday, Sunday, our first WTS at Adepticon, and Scott and Jake, you have the floor. How was the WTS?
I was there for Saturday, but I had commitments, so I think Mike or somebody else helped.
Yeah,
on
I was
Sunday,
splitting around all
so
weekend.
I had to.
I was there Sunday a little bit too.
But it was, I don't know. What did you think, Scott? Since you kind of had honchoed it for
Yeah, so we had 13 players that came out for the WTS. We were originally aiming for 6 rounds, 6 different games in this. As soon as we started the event, because at six games, we were kind of looking towards 20 or more players, which is what we were hoping for. Probably got a little too out, over our
ambitious.
skis. Yeah, ambitious, out over our skis.
We want people to love Warcrow as much as we.
Yes,
love
pretty much. So once we got started, I put it out to the players because as soon as we get started, it's not my event. It's not the guys on this channel's event. It's the players, folks that are playing in it. It's their event now. If we're going to be making any changes to it, I want it to be in their hands. I want it to be unanimous. So with Jake's help, we used some technology because I'm an old fart. So I have no idea how to create a QR code.
It was a Google form. That's what.
At least a Google form. Like I said,
He's an Excel aficionado, not a
yes,
Google form.
I know Excel. Leave me alone. Let me.
My
do
job makes quizzes on Google Forms. So
that. So
Me too.
We put it out. We put it out to the players. Like, do you want to shrink this to 5 rounds? And everybody either said yes or abstained. So we switched to only 5 rounds. So we went 4 rounds on Saturday, 1 round Sunday morning. Folks could get out of town early. And still not rush it and have to start super early on Sunday. So that part was really good. I think next year, if we're going to be continuing with WTS as a 2-day, but obviously we have to look at it. Do we want to flip the narrative to 2? What do we want to do? Excuse me. We have to figure it out, but I think we're just going to aim for 5 total games, and it'd be 3 on one, 2 on the next. But we'll take a look at that in a little bit. Let's kind of spend a little hobby time of our own right now in this lull right after the con, and then we'll move on from there.
We probably all have piles of stuff from Adepticon. So
yeah, I'm trying out my turbo dork paint that I got on my Mount Haven.
Yeah.
Well,
wait
and
to
I
see it.
think we're still learning what Warcrow is as from a tournament level too, like a competitive scene level. So like it's, it's I don't think it's where it's going to be in the year. And there's got to be a lot of changes, and there's probably going to be some balance things or whatever it is. We just maybe don't know yet, and that's okay.
Exactly. So it's still like a fledgling beginning game.
Mhm.
Yes, we had 2 armies, a year and a half, almost 2 years ago now. But that wasn't quite enough to even start a competitive scene. We started being able to just a little bit this time last year when CNN was out and the Scions card pack, so that Scions from Adventures could be used.
Mhm.
But it wasn't until we started getting last Gen Con with adding Feudum, the revamp of Scions to like their true profiles. That's really when we started building a competitive scene. Now that we've got Mount Haven, that initial release of armies is now, at least they've started. So the initial release for each army is there. I think now is when we can truly start focusing on and seeing what the competitive scene by the community is, what they want.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, in my mind,
Okay.
there's a place for narrative and there's a place for competitive,
Mhm.
and both of them together is what's going to truly grow this game.
And I think that's what would be interesting to monitor. I think that again, I don't have a ton of experience with other games, but coming from Infinity, that there's more overlap than there is separation. But with Warcrow, every faction has its own feel and its own
Oh, yeah.
tricks, and so I'm really interested to see how the play and the counter plays and this tactic and then that counter develops.
And in this WTS, some were felt more than others. We had 13 players, right? And then we can
13
talk
players,
about
8 of which
8,
were CNN.
the dirty, dirty, dirty elves, literally.
So
And
they
for some,
have given us a little bit of a meta to start off, early meta, but definitely their power was shown from a
yeah.
competitive standpoint, which I think some of us kind of knew it was there. I know when I played in the Worldwide Warcrow League, say that 5 times fast. CNN didn't win, but I definitely struggled versus CNN. And Scions actually ended up taking that one, but there was definitely a more breadth of lists. And, I also think this is true of a lot of games, like European meta is typically different than North American meta in terms of competitive and what people are playing for whatever reason. So we definitely, it was, I think heard somebody say, "Hey, how's the Siena tournament going?" And
Yes, I heard that more than once.
but there was a tribes player playing at the top table.
Yep. For
And
the
a
final
couple
round.
so I mean you had 1 through 3 at the end was Siena, but the next 2 were northern tribes. So
represent.
Yeah,
so
and the narrative was won
it's
by a hegemony player. It's hegemony, Shannon, and then Scions.
so you would expect with that many Siena players that the conversion rates could be pretty darn high. But it wasn't like there were other factions in the top, 5 to 6. Feudum doesn't have enough toys right now, I don't think, to get to that level. Like they don't have everything. Like I think cavalry can be
Cav is
pretty
gonna be,
important, and they
That's
don't
gonna be
have
big.
that yet. I mean
I
that's
don't know. JP kicked my butt with his few. So,
that's just because JP's a good Feudum
I'm
player. I
bad.
don't know.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
bad.
I'm also. I mean, when I came played you over was it Christmas and around there? You
Yeah.
kicked my butt with Sienna. So, I think you don't want to see that big of a one-sided, but one, not surprising necessarily. A lot of competitive players that are playing to win. That's what a competitive WTS is going to be. But I don't think we're not so far out of balance that other things can't win. It just doesn't surprise me as CNN was top 3 with all of them because of how many were there, and there were some good players playing it.
Yeah, the full faction breakdown was 8 CNN, 2 hegemony, 2 Northern Tribes, and 1 Scions. We did not have a single feudum player.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised the Scions are so low. But
Yeah.
But there was a lot of
decapitation one of the missions.
Yeah, first one.
yeah. we have other conversations about that. We've talked about that. Well, and here's the other thing though, is like it was a 2-day event, and some of the More Than Dice people couldn't play because it was a 2-day event because they had other things going on. So we could have had 2-day can be a little bit tricky when you're trying to do other things at the con.
Yep.
Which is why there's, in my mind, maybe it's a 1-day. Maybe it depends on how many people are playing. I don't know. But what's important is that people played, had a good time. The people played the tournament. Most everybody, I think, came the next day, the last day, and played their 5th round. So, and it seemed pretty positive, and looked good, looked fun.
I know from like an organizer standpoint, as soon as we got the whole weekend rolling, so basically as soon as we were done with table setup for both game systems that we were involved with, so Infinity and Warcrow on Wednesday night, that's when things kind of settled down for me. So thankfully everything went real well after that, because I mean, basically I'm going to say that is due to all of the rest of you volunteers for both game systems, because it could not run smoothly without you guys. So thank you.
Takes a village, right?
Yeah.
It does.
Well, and it was my first time TOing for Adepticon, because I've done little ones in our local area, in the Chicagoland area. But I had the misconception that I thought, at least for WTS, that we were going to be like up and going to people's tables all the time, because that's what happened to me when I played a Shatterpoint tournament a while back. And it wasn't like that. It was cool. It was like the even though there's some people getting really competitive, they were still like, people talking to each other across the table, and as long as 2 people agreed that, like, certain things. I mean, we were really only called over. We were called over much less than I thought we were going to be.
Yeah, really, just for the kind of uncommon things. Those are all the questions I answered.
And I found myself walking over. I found myself walking over just because I was bored of just sitting down, because I thought I was going to be moving more, and that's that was fun, because I just kind of got to talk to players while other players were going, and it was cool. A lot of great people.
So that wraps up the WTF. Who did win? Do you have to know their actual name? Sienna player?
His name is Raph. Let me see if I've got his.
Oh, Raph.
Raph 11.
Yeah, Raph won.
Nice.
So congratulations on winning the first ever WTS at Adepticon. So before we fully wrap up, we're going to venture off a little bit, because 3 of us that are in this chat, this podcast right now, did end up playing in Tag Deathmatch on Saturday night. And what a hoot that was. I've never been... It was utter chaos. It was so awesome. And the coolest part, for those that are Infinity veterans, 4 of us at the table has played Infinity. Most of us are pretty good with the rules, but none of us had played a single game of N5.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, for me, it was really fun watching Scott, Mike, and our friend Matt argue over rules from N4 to N5, and it was mass hysteria. Cats or dogs are living together.
What was it like? What were you doing? Was it like
so it's.
It was a.
Do you want to explain? Do you want to explain it? What it was?
I got it. 6 tags, one of which is a hunter, or excuse me, a predator.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got a camouflage on, like the predator.
Okay, like predator.
Movie,
yeah.
And then everybody else is a hunter.
Okay.
So all the hunters get to go first. At
there
one
was 6
time.
people playing this.
6 people on the same board, and there was multiple boards.
Cool.
Multiple boards going. And basically, the predator is trying. You get points for fragging. As a predator to the hunter, hunters to the predator, hunters killing friends, doing damage to their buddies.
Mm-hmm.
So they really encourage that, that chaos that Jason was talking about.
Friendly fire.
friendly
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah. So the hunter had its own profile, the predator had its own profile, and essentially when the predator died, whoever killed the predator became the new predator. And the thing that threw everything off was that there were how many portals were there? 6, 8, 10, something like that.
Yeah.
6 portal jumps
10,
that you
10.
could 10. There were 6 portal jumps that you could portal and roll a d20, and the number you got showed where you portaled. Well, the caveat of that was is that if there was a tag already on that portal, you killed the tag. You blew it up. So
Then you were out. Like
others, no, you
They
spawn back in.
next
Oh,
turn.
But you
Drop
could
it.
theoretically
random.
spawn back in on another tag
so you
and
could
kill
just-
it. So what happened was is that people started to figure out the best way to kill things was just to portal around and
Oh,
kill
like
everything.
Diva alt.
So there was
Yes,
one
it was a
point-
devault.
and the best part
Okay.
is Chad and Gabriel, and I think Chad and Gabriel were the two like basically running it. They'd come over and be like, next person to die, come with me, grab your tag. So the table we were at, I died. Like, come with me. Move me to another table. And they said at the top of the next round, you teleport in randomly to this table.
That's
And they
fun.
took someone from that table over to a different table. Well, the thing you just mentioned, Jason, is exactly what happened. I teleport in, someone's already on that teleport pad. I pop them. Or actually, no, I walk in, I teleport to a different pad. That's my move. That's my action. Somebody else's action, the predator, is to teleport. They end up on the pad I'm on. I'm dead. When I spawn back in, I spawn back on the pad they were on, killing them. When they spawn in, they killed me again. So it was 3 in a row that rolled the same pad.
Yeah.
Did the
And so there were also a deck of cards that he would pass out, and
Okay.
there were special abilities, whether it was an order or a passive or something.
interrupt
It was all kinds of craziness on these cards, and he would give them out, and he'd randomly give out more, and you had all of this
Nice.
stuff going on. I laughed hysterically. The arguments were fantastic. This was definitely if you have a question, whatever creates more chaos is the answer to that question.
So did the predator? I have an idea now for how to do this with Warcrow. So I'm gonna mull it over. But did the predator have its own unique stat block, or was it just the stat
Yes.
block of
Yes.
the?
Yeah. It's
Predators-
it's like a little better at everything.
Okay, so like
Yep.
if we're thinking Warcrow terms, the war rig wouldn't have had just normal war rig rules.
Right? It would
would
be
have had
its
Right.
own
Right.
profile. It'd be a custom
Yeah.
profile.
for just the predator. Okay.
So it kind of levels the playing field of here's how this is
Yeah.
supposed to interact.
Yeah.
Because if you've played with
But
There's
you can come use the
dozens
big
of
boy.
different tags with
Yeah.
different point costs and
So-
profiles.
And there were also panoplies that you could pull equipment out of.
Mhm.
So different weapons, things
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
So everybody had a vanilla tag basically.
Yep.
And then you just picked
Yeah.
what factor, like your your skin.
Yeah, whatever
basically.
tag you liked.
And
Yeah.
so there was predator and hunter, and then they could pick up loot. Okay, I
Yeah,
have an
and
idea.
that
I have
led
an
to my
idea for
favorite
Warcrow.
moment is I became the predator, and so Scott and I were right by each other, and we kept getting shot by people, but Scott got the perfect card for Scott, if you know his past.
Let me pull up
With-
the
what is it,
picture to
with
get
a
the
steel chair?
exact. Yeah, let me get the.
He wants to
exact-
say the exact words. Like I can't pull. I'm not going to pull up stream.
Is it a
but-
4x4 board?
Yes.
yeah,
4x4.
normal board. Yep.
The,
And we played
the
we played
card-
on the Halo table.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
the card that was handed to me. They claim it was random. I have some doubts. From behind with the steel chair.
So he played that to then get into melee with me, but he did not know that because I had picked up one of the special weapons was the big hammer 9000 or something like that.
Yes.
So I had that, and then I had another card where I could do 2 attacks at once. So we ran at each other and duked it out. And then I think that's when I killed you, and you went over.
That's when I went to the other table. Yep.
Yeah.
It was just so much fun.
Yeah,
And-
it was a
and
blast.
Mike might not have seen it, but when I played the card, I did pick up a folding chair.
Oh no, I
and just
yeah.
swing it. Lots of fun.
Cool.
No, it was a blast. I felt bad for another friend of ours played, and he's never touched Infinity ever.
we were
So
all
he was
figure it out.
so. Not only we have arguing over rules, I'm like trying to be like he died like right away, and he's like, "Well, this sucks." I'm like, "Just calm down. It's fine. It's you're supposed to die." He didn't. I felt bad for him, but he said he had a good time. So, a lot of laughs, a lot of funs. Adepticon's come and gone. We're all sad. We'll have to wait another year, but that just gives us a year to do more Warcrow things, and get more games in, and build and make those gray minis colorful.
Yeah,
Yes.
and if the release schedule holds that it has in the past, basically Mount Haven will be just about fully armed, maybe just missing the Titan.
Yeah.
Baby
potentially.
carrier.
Have lots of opportunity to.
Actually,
to
it
see
might
all
be
the armies.
released at Adepticon. I think
Yeah.
that'll be the March release.
So
Because that's
somebody will be
that's what
crazy
Boss
enough.
Hermit was for
Yeah,
CNN.
true.
Yeah, somebody will be
the
crazy enough
CNN
to buy it
release.
Thursday and get it painted for Friday. Yeah, somebody will be crazy they'll buy it Thursday, get it painted for Friday. Someone will be crazy enough
Well,
to do it.
actually, there's going to be more time because Adepticon next year is moved.
It's a week later.
2 weeks.
2
later.
weeks later. 2 weeks later.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Okay.
it's April 8th through the 11th because Easter falls on March 30th or March 28th, which is what so that would have been the same weekend that we had it this year. But because it's Easter, they've moved it. It's 2 weeks later. So if that Mountain Haven Titan is the March release, some folks will have had it for at least
Fly,
a week and a
fly to
half.
Spain,
2 weeks.
camp outside, HQ, get it, fly back, get it painted. Yeah.
Yep, pretty much. So there's a chance folks will have it.
And we're in a cool situation too, where like Mount Haven's out, and typically we've been getting the narrative boxes for Gen Con. So it's like I'm excited because it's like, what's coming up? Like what are we?
What's next?
It's fun to be like, okay, the factions are out, so what is it? What could it be?
Man, we don't have much book left.
Yeah. Or maybe some of the adventures characters will get a general release.
Yeah, that would be really some super cool. Like Horus Heresy has like the super heroic sculpts for models. I'm like, that'd be really cool and then like you get all of them, and if you put them together, it makes a diorama. That'd be cool.
Or maybe someone could play Warcrow itself.
Yeah.
It'll just be a rock in a box. But
Army of one.
All right. Anything else for the good of the cause? It was good to see everybody. It was good to see everybody at the event, and good things are coming. I think we're all excited, and
2 things to plug before we finish. First one, KennedyCon. If anybody wants to come play at WTS,
I'll be there.
Yes.
And
Sign-ups
Cedar
are popping up.
Iowa.
Yep, Cedar Rapids, Iowa on May
16th
16th and 17th is what it is. It is a fundraiser for my esports team. I coach esports team. Actually, Jake does as well, or has an esports club, if I'm not mistaken. And so yeah, that will be that weekend. It's the first one we're doing, and I can say there will be patches.
crkennedycon.com.
Yes.
Okay, I might have to register just to get one of your patches.
I just
I
ordered
don't
them
know if I
today.
can go yet. But
We still haven't come up with a cool title yet, like we had for
we'll figure it
Infinity.
out.
So,
We'll
but
figure it out.
it'll happen eventually.
Yep.
What's
And
the other
then-
thing?
Corn
Jake?
apocalypse.
Jake, I don't know if you have a date yet.
Yes, I'm working on doing a June tournament for Warcrow in the Chicagoland area that I hope to maybe evolve into being a satellite thing that bridges between Adepticon and Gen Con. One, because it's going to be in the time slot between the two, but also location-wise, it's in the spot between the two and right near O'Hare Airport. So it's just good. But I'm in the very baby stages of it, and working on it. And I talked with different CB people and all the other people that volunteered. So I'm just working out logistics and seeing what that might look like. And yeah, this week I hope to start solidifying some things.
More to
Awesome.
come when dates are solid.
Yes.
Yep,
Dates
yep.
and location.
All right. Well, that is it for us tonight. Thanks for attending, everybody that was in chat. Our first live. I have a feeling we will be attempting to do more of these. I personally love them. They're my favorite way to interact with the community. And I'm sure JP and I will also, not next weekend, probably not next two, but we'll get another paint stream up, as well as that motivates me to paint.
And if I can figure out how to get a camera set up on my paint table, I will join you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mr. Say, for joining us. I appreciate it. And Jake, sign us off because I know you have a phrase.
Yeah, so check out all our stuff, and if you survive the fog, we'll see you in the next video.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Right.